Welcome to clickmyproject.com. Let's go see about the extending the lifetime of wireless sensor network by use of hybrid routing algorithm. So in this present, the power hour routing in wireless sensor network is focused on the critical problem by extending by the network lifetime of wireless sensor network. So it will be affect the lifetime of the network. So during the transmission. So by using avoid this, we can use the power consumption the network to solve this capacities, so which are limited by low capacity batteries. So it contains the batteries which have the low density values. So solution to address that issue through a hybrid approach, it combines the two routing strategies. One is the flat multi-hop and another one is hierarchical multi-hop routing. So flat multi-hop is nothing but is a straightforward and its shape will be a flat. So it communicate with multi-hop routing by use of any nearby neighbor nodes, and hierarchical multi-hop routing. So hierarchical multi-hopping is like a tree structure form. So it can produce a large number of data to capture by use of multi-hop. So then the form aims minimize the total power. So minimize the total power consumption on the network. So by use of former, so it will reduce the network consumption, and the later Addons to decrease the amount of the traffic by the utilizing data compression. So then the amount of traffic is utilized by the congestion of control, so which make the network is lost without any errors or any attempts to decrease the amount of traffic. So this is the main aim of the total power consumption and the process for extending lifetime of hybrid communication. Let's see the flow of the process. So first write the wireless sensor network to create a number of nodes. Then it will be calculated by using of equivalent distance with source and destination nodes by the use of all the nodes. So then it will communicate with direct communication. So in direct communication, it will also calculate the equivalent distance among the each nodes. So after that it will complete it. So then it goes to cluster head transmission. In cluster head transmission, it forms a group of neighbors. Then from the cluster head to sink, it will calculate the transmission energy for both. So it also calculate by the equivalent distance, then calculating the transmission energy for all nodes. So after that, so it will it calculate the remaining energy for all nodes. So selecting the node with the highest remaining energy. So it will select the node by use of the high energy which I have calculated. So selecting the nodes in which set with the maximum remaining energy in each set. So it choose in which area it will choose a maximum. Then it get it. So it return back to the. So after that, finding the number of neighbors for selected node in each cluster head. So first node will be communicate with the cluster head. So it find the neighbors and select the nodes to continue. So after that, selecting the node with the maximum number of neighbors with the 3 new set head. So after that, the new dataset will be added to the database and it will be shown. So in last, so if the condition is success, it will be stopped. Otherwise, it will repeat the process from interval of the only one words if any changes between them. Let's see the execution of the process. Right click the home.java and run file. This is the welcome screen for extending the lifetime of wireless sensor network, a hybrid routing algorithm. So by clicking enter, the process will be continued. So these are the options for the hybrid condition. So first is the direct connection and cluster head transmission and super cluster transmission, and last the performance analysis. First we are going to say about the direct connection. So click the direct connection. So this is the form for direct connection and click create. So the nodes will be created. So here we are saying about the 60 nodes that will be created. So by clicking distance, it will calculate the distance. So select the source node, click view. So this is the source node from the destination node from the 61 nodes. So and the distance. So by this we can identify up to the 61 nodes. So then click generate. So the generation form will be open. So by clicking generate, it will be form a group of cluster, and center one is the sink. From surrounding the sink, the nodes will be created. So there will be a 4 cluster as 21, 10, 41, 31. So these are the cluster head. So by clicking distance, so the transmission energy value will be calculated for the direct connection from sink to other nodes. So this is the sink. So sink from all the nodes, it will be a distance and its transmission energy. So the total transmission energy is calculated here. So this is the direct connection. I click main. So then we going to say about the cluster head transmission. So click generate. So again, so this is the cluster form for the cluster transmission. So then click distance. So it will be calculate the transmission energy from cluster head to sink. So ch1 is the cluster head. So click view. So from s11, so this is, so from 2 is the cluster head, and s11 to 20 is the its nodes. This number of nodes is surrounded by the cluster head. So and this distance and this transmission energy. So this is the overall transmission energy for the first cluster. So again we can choose this second cluster and click view. So likewise the 3 and 4. So this is the transmission for cluster head. So then click the receiving energy. So this is the receiving energy from sink to the cluster head. So select the sink. So from S1 is the sink. So sink 2, and it says cluster head and distance and its receiving energy. So likewise the from cluster to its receiving energy. Likewise is the show about the 4 cluster head. So then click next. So then click generate. So now it will generate from the nodes. So from here cluster head as SN10 to sink is communicate with the node 57, and 21 it's communicate with 54 and reach the sink. So likewise the 31 and 41. So click distance. So now here is the cluster transmission energy. So click the distance. So this transmission energy is from sink to its cluster head. So from cluster head to sink, and the distance and transmission value and total transmission value. So click node transmission. So this is the total energy value for cluster energy. So click view. So this is the total for the cluster transmission. So click main. So it will go to the for the main function, and now select the super cluster transmission. So now click generate. It will be form a cluster group, and it's communicate with the sink. So in super cluster it will be communicate with the 2 cluster head and choose the one of the node from sink and communicate with sink. Another one is the 2 cluster 31 and 41. Click distance. So now the transmission energy cluster group for 1. So click calculate and select the ch1. So view. So this is from the ch10 to 58. 58 is the sink node. Then cluster 2. So and its distance and the transmission energy. So this is the total transmission value. So click next and click calculate. So now select the ch1. So now it's from 58 to sink. So it reached the distance and this transmission value. So here it communicate with the two process, so that transmission energy will be double, and click next. So likewise the other node, so 31 and 41, it communicate with 60 and its transmission value and total transmission value. So click next. So from it, next is the and its node to sync, it will be it's double because it will communicate the two process. Click next. So now total energy value for cluster group and sync transmission. So these are the total transmission value super cluster. So this is the 606, which is compared with the cluster head transmission. It is a minimum distance for the super cluster. So click main, then click performance analysis. So this is the performance analysis for the direct connection, cluster head transmission and super cluster transmission. So this is the number of nodes. So here is the first is the direct connection, so second is the cluster head transmission, third one is the super cluster. So super cluster has the more efficient with compared with the cluster head and direct communication. So here the network lifetime. So in network lifetime, the direct communication and cluster head transmission is maintained by the same process, but in the super cluster head it's the better performance which compared with both cluster and direct communication. So this is the process for hybrid communication. Thank you.